engine roared back into life. It would be the last sound I would hear. In a couple of seconds, my mind would be clear, devoid of all the voices that were boiling in my head. I put my foot to the floor. The end was in view. Then, in the moment before I was set to crash, a voice shot into my head. "No, stop, think about your kids." And I blasted past the bridge before hammering on the brakes. That's as close as I've come to ending it all. I look back with relief and bewilderment at just how a person can enter such a state, suffocated by depression like I was, and I give thanks to God. Without my faith, I would have committed suicide that day. My children would not have a father to guide them, and my amazing wife Paris would have been robbed of a husband, who, for all my faults, loves her with all his heart. Unless you have experienced it, you really don't know what depression is like. At that moment, and in other moments like it, I have just felt like nothing on earth matters. Absolutely nothing. So what is the point of living? Immediately after I got out of the car, I was thinking about what the consequences could have been. And I don't want to go anywhere near that point again in my life. But then it's very easy to slowly slip back into that way of thinking. I'm sure some who are reading this may have experienced what I'm describing. I want to assure everyone that there is a way out. There is a pathway to receiving help. If that wasn't the case, I wouldn't have made my comeback. I wouldn't be fighting again in the hardest sport in the world. I could easily have ended up in a padded cell because of some of the things I've done, but I'm fighting back. 1st of December 2018, the Staples Center, Los Angeles. You're beat. You're beat. I'm going to take you to school, you big dosser. As we were brought together before the first bell, and throughout the first round, I was taunting the WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder. But in the opening moments of the fight, I did find out why Wilder calls himself Bomb Squad. He landed a jab, and I thought, whoa, I could feel the knuckle right through my hand as I blocked it. Before the fight, my trainer Ben Davison had been concerned about the way in which Wilder often hits guys with punches behind the head, which can have a devastating effect on the brain. Ben had actually flagged it up to referee Jack Reese, and as the fight wore on, he was wary of how Wilder was trying to catch me. In the 9th round, Ben's fear became a reality. Wilder tagged me behind the ear, and down I went. Maybe I got a little too comfortable, and the effects of losing so much weight before the fight had taken a little spring out of my step. But it's also the kind of shot that short-circuits the brain. There's nothing you can do when you get hit behind the ear or on the temple. Your body loses control and you hit the deck. Still, whatever, I was down, and with 2 minutes left in the round, Wilder believed he had enough time to finish me off. Wrong. I wasn't hurt, and I got to my feet and got back to what I'd been doing, and that was boxing the head off Wilder. As he came at me, winging right hands, I clamped him to my body, allowed my head to clear, and then I fired back. Soon I was snapping his head back with my jab, a shot I had honed as a weapon back in my earliest days as an amateur. Wilder didn't know what to do with me. He's the WBC champion with scary power in his fists, but he can't land his punches. He can't get control of me the way he did with the rest of his 39 opponents, all dispatched by knockout. I finished the round strongly, slam-bam in his face with solid shots. How frustrating must that have been for him? He was used to having opponents on the hook and then taking them out. While I was showing a surprised Wilder that I was going nowhere, little did I know that Ben was having a furious row with the local officials who were trying to keep him from getting to his feet to see if I was all right. The rule in LA is that the corner must remain seated, but when the heavyweight championship of the world is on the line, that's easier said than done. Ben desperately wanted to know what kind of shape I was in. But with under a minute to go, I was in my groove, firing home my jab, and Wilder was now the one looking tired, unable to sustain any attacks as I taunted him by putting my hands behind my back and sticking my tongue out at him.